So welcome to our brand new weekly devotion for the Cardiff and Vale churches. I hope that you guys will find this a blessing in some way. And I just want to, over sort of the next few weeks, take a look at a passage that I'm sure is a favourite of many of ours. I'm sure many of us know really well, but hopefully will be a blessing to us as we go through it once more. And that's Hebrews chapter 11. But before we turn to that, let me just ask you a quick question. Just think about who has impacted your faith more than anyone else. Now, if you have to think of one person who has perhaps taught you more about the Lord than anyone else, I wonder who would that be? Would it be a parent, or a Sunday school teacher, or a minister, or maybe a friend perhaps? But just try and think of that person. And I'm willing to bet that that person was probably alive when they taught you about the Lord. But that's not always the case, is it? You know, that doesn't have to be true. I mean, in fact, one of the people that has taught me more than anyone else, one of the people that's had the biggest impact on my faith, is a guy called Martin Luther. And he died in 1546. So obviously I've never met him in person, but I've read his books and I've read about his life, and he has massively shaped the person that I am today. And I hope that one day in God's kingdom I will meet him in person. And you know, Hebrews 11 sort of talks about that, doesn't it? About how we can find inspiration and encouragement from those saints who have gone before us. And he also goes on to list a whole load of people who can be encouragements and helps and guides to us. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to look at a few of those and so try and learn some lessons from their lives for us today. And we'll do that starting off in chapter 11, verse 3, and look at the example of Abel. And this is what it says, verse 3. It says, by faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. By faith, he was commended as righteous when God spoke well of his offerings. And by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. And you know, the story of Cain and Abel, it always strikes me as a really weird one. I don't know if you feel the same, but it's strange, isn't it? That, you know, you've got Cain, who is a farmer, and Abel, who's a hunter, and they both come and they offer sacrifices to God. But then for some reason that we're not told about at all in Genesis 4, God rejects Cain's sacrifice. It's odd, isn't it? But here in Hebrews 11, I think we're given a little bit of a clue as to what's going on. A little bit of a clue as to the significance of it all. And we're told that Abel is presenting his offering by faith. And therefore it was better than Cain's. You know, presumably then the sort of the hidden assumption in the text is that Cain therefore didn't present his offering by faith. So that's why Abel's is better, because he did. He brought his by faith when Cain didn't. So the thing is, you know, it's all about their motives, isn't it? It's all about what is coming from the inside. You know, God didn't reject Cain's offering because, you know, he's not a fan of vegetables, but because Cain's heart wasn't in the right place. And therefore I think this whole incident is a reminder to us, isn't it? But when we come to God, we need to make sure that we are coming with our heart in the right place. And actually, I think we can learn two really important things from this story. Firstly, it's a reminder that if we want God to accept us, then we have to come to him with those right motives. You know, there's no point just putting on a show or doing it for the sake of appearances. You know, God doesn't buy that, does he? You know, God knows what's in our heart. He's not going to accept us if we're just doing it for the sake of outward religion. But secondly, and it's also an amazing reminder that God accepts what we have to offer through faith. Notice that the passage doesn't say, does it, exactly what Abel offered to God. Some sort of animal, presumably, but we don't know exactly what. But I'm pretty sure that I can say, but whatever it was, it wasn't what God deserved, was it? It wasn't really good enough as an offering for God. After all, there's no gift in all of creation, is there? No sacrifice in all of the world that could truly be worthy of God. And yet this passage reminds us that if we bring what we have to God in faith, then God is pleased with us. God will accept us. He doesn't say, no, go away, do better, come up with something more. That gift is not good enough. It's not sufficient. What you have to offer, that doesn't please me. If we come to him and we offer even the smallest gift, but if we do it with our hearts in the right place, then he gladly accepts us. Isn't that good news? Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did by faith. By faith, he was commended as righteous. And isn't that good news? That if we come to God simply by faith, we too will be commended as righteous. And so I hope that is a blessing to you, that we can bear that in mind this week, that we can live by faith and come to him by faith. So may the Lord be with you throughout this week as you seek to serve him and to know him. Amen.